T-Rex's environment versus Tarbosaurus's environment. Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Glad to have you here. Now, the last video we talked a little bit about why T-Rex grew so much larger than Tarbosaurus, and it really got me thinking about just environments. And you really don't know what an animal is like until you understand where it's from. And again, we're thinking about prehistoric animals. It's very difficult to sometimes envision their environments. Now, in Prehistoric Planet behind me here, we saw a lush, almost type of tropical rainforest where Rex had just taken down a Triceratops. Extremely dark, extremely lush. There's rivers. So in my head, I have a great idea of what the environment of T-Rex is like. Now, if you look at Tarbosaurus on the other end of the equation, Mongolia, 70 million years ago, it lived a couple million years before T-Rex. It's a pretty fascinating environment in that we have this Nemeth formation, which is a combination of desert and floodplains and rivers and lakes. And it's just a fascinating place with these deserts intertwined between all these, lush kind of tropical areas. Because if you think about it, if we're going to have a big population of big dinosaurs, Tarbosaurus, Nemectosaurus, Therizinosaurus, Dinochirus, we're going to need lush habitat. We're going to need more than just the Gobi Desert or more than just desert. Now, in Prehistoric Planet Season 1 and 2, we really saw these animals, Tarbosaurus, moving around in the desert. I think they really wanted to showcase that desert environment, and it was cool. I wish we would have followed it more towards its natural habitat. We did get to see a little bit of what the watery world of Dinochirus would have looked like, but I wish we would have followed more of these animals from the desert into either these floodplains or these shallow lakes or these rivers. Follow them back to where is a lush area with enough food to support all of these animals. We didn't get that, but it left me kind of envisioning what that must have been like for Tarbosaurus to have these habitats, and then intertwined in the middle are these deserts. And how often are they crossing them? Very difficult questions to answer. In asking around, we know that herbivores tend to move around more than carnivores. Obviously, carnivores will follow the herbivores, but herbivores tend to migrate more. So again, was Tarbosaurus following these animals? Again, great question. But really, I think what I'm getting at with this video is just thinking about the environment of T-Rex and how it shaped T-Rex, and thinking about the environment of Tarbosaurus and how it potentially shaped Tarbosaurus's hunting strategies as well as the size. Now, if you look at T-Rex, massive, probably the largest terrestrial predator of all time, probably the largest theropod of all time. Although some people start to think about Dinochirus. I've heard a few YouTubers just hypothesizing that one day maybe we'll find out that Dinochirus was the biggest theropod of all time, but that's nowhere near anything cemented, and that's a topic for another video. But if you think about Rex and its environment, a lot of people are thinking that it's an ambush predator, and it's possibly these tight and constricting forests, and maybe it's ambushing prey from these forests. So it's using its bulk, not really a pursuit animal, but more of an ambush predator. And it's ambushing some tremendous prey, Triceratops and Ankylosaurus, some tremendous armored prey. So again, we'll probably never be able to answer why T-Rex grew so large. If you take a look to Tarbosaurus, and a lot of people have a hard time with saying large. When I mean large, I'm talking 2-3 tons more. Right now we're thinking Tarbosaurus weighed 6 tons. I'm going to guess and hypothesize that Tarbosaurus could get bigger, 7-8 tons. I don't know if Tarbosaurus could get 10 tons, but I'm going to hypothesize that it got several tons bigger. So we may be talking that Rex outweighed it by 2 or 3 tons, but let's face it, 2 or 3 tons is still 4,000 to 6,000 pounds. That's a big difference. We're talking a rhinoceros. That's a massive difference. So, again, T-Rex's environment, maybe it was suitable to being an ambush predator, and it just got tremendously large to battle these armored prey, and the armored prey was just freaking huge, and this thing just needed to be a walking tank. T-Rex that was. Now, we look at Tarbosaurus on the other end of the equation. it's potentially going into the deserts. You know, if it's in a desert ecosystem, its ability to be not necessarily camouflaged, but just be hidden is probably less. You know, obviously there must have been some caves. There would have been channels of rocks like we saw on Prehistoric Planet. But again, if an animal like that is in a desert ecosystem, maybe it's doing more pursuit prey. I'm just guessing on that, but maybe it's doing more pursuit prey. So it probably has to be a little bit on the lighter side. Now, we also know that in between these deserts in this Nemegt Formation, we have rivers, lakes, floodplains. So possibly more of an environment like we know that T-Rex probably lived in. But again, very difficult to piece these environments together. I'm by no means a paleontologist. That's why that comment section down below is so vital. The comment section is literally turning out to be my favorite part of these videos. I love reading your comments. So many of you are so much more intelligent than myself. It's ridiculous. I'm not ashamed to admit that. You guys are a lot more intelligent than myself. I love to hear what you have to say. Really hope you'll chime in with your thoughts at the end of this video. But again, you know, we're thinking about T-Rex and its environment, and did its environment shape its size and hunting strategies? Again, some people think that Rex was an ambush predator and it grew really large because it's battling just armored prey. Tarbosaurus on the other side of the equation, potentially a pursuit predator. You know, a lot of people are thinking that it's hunting sauropods. We have Nemegtosaurus, which was about a 20-ton sauropod, very large animal by animal standards, not the biggest sauropod by sauropod standards, but still, if we're talking a 20-ton animal, we're talking a 40,000-pound animal. Let's be realistic here, okay? May not be Argentinosaurus, may not be Dreadnoughtus. We're talking a 40,000-pound animal. Nothing to sneeze at. But again, you know, maybe Tarbosaurus did more pursuit prey than Rex, so it had to be a bit on the lighter side in order to do that pursuing. So I'd really love to hear from you down in the comment section down below. Do you think that the environments of these animals, T-Rex and Tarbosaurus, shaped both their hunting strategies as well as the sizes that they attained in life? So love to hear from you. Comment section down below, and thank you greatly for the support of this channel. See you in the next video. Take care.